This is FINO, named by Gourmet Traveller as one of the top regional restaurants in South Australia. I've invited Cascabel winemakers Duncan Ferguson and SUSANA FERNANDEZ to join me. Duncan and SUSANA set up Cascabel Wines 10 years ago. They chose McLaren Vale because the weather and soil conditions are perfect for their European-inspired wines. Wines such as Roussanne Viognier, Tipico and Tempranillo Graciano. So SUSANA, what are you and Duncan trying to do with the label? What's the idea behind Cascabel?
It's mostly to move away from just simple fruit combinations that Australia is so well known for, but there is more to it than that. So we look more for what we admire in wines, mostly from Europe, is depth and it's a different style. So
Duncan, there's a lot of different grape varieties on there. How do you put the blends together?
Actually, it's surprisingly easy. We planted the vineyard with the view that eventually they're going to be blended, the varieties that are blended. In some cases, they're even adjacent rows in the vineyard. We basically pick an area and that is that wine.
You just chuck them all in together?
Sometimes.
In some instances, yes.
Now, there's a good reason why I invited my friends along to this particular restaurant. I love the idea of food and wine matching, but for me, it's just a case of one not overpowering the other so you can enjoy all the flavours. But I am aware there's a real art to it, and someone who prides themselves on doing it well is FINO chef David Swain. David will prepare a meal to match any wine you choose from McLaren Vale. Today we've asked him to match 3 of Cascabel's finest. Serving us is FINO owner SHARON Romeo. Oh, SHARON, hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
The first dish we've matched with the Roussanne Viognier is some Cangarilla farmed Marin.
Cangarilla, very close?
Very close. 10 to 15 minutes near McLaren Flat.
Perfect.
Simply because the sweetness of the meat goes beautifully with the Roussanne Viognier.
So I was just about to have some of the Marin, but I have to have the wine first, is that right?
Yes, I think.
Okay,
Yes.
so wine first.
Just get in the mood.
Okay, in the mood. It's all about mood. I thought it was about the food.
And now attack.
All right, attack.
It's very nice. Very well seasoned. Gorgeous.
As we like to say with the Roussanne Viognier, it's like a Sauvignon Blanc, but only much better.
Venison carpaccio from Onkaparinga Valley with some mild horseradish cream and pickled beetroot stalks, which have been pickled in a little bit of star anise and some cinnamon and red wine vinegar, which go beautifully well with some roasted beetroot, some Hindmarsh Valley feta, pistachios and watercress.
Do you reckon the beetroot works with this?
Yes, in fact, I think it does complement the wine pretty well. This wine is generally, we often look at it as being quite an earthy wine, so it definitely does work.
I have to agree. I'd say this wine is a softer version of some of the Shiraz Grenache blends coming out of the Barossa. And last but not least, we have a Tempranillo Graciano inspired by regional blends from SUSANA's home in Spain.
Here we have with the Tempranillo Graciano is the Maitland's rolled lamb loin, where we've used lamb mince, pine nuts, and from our garden we've got some marjoram and rosemary.
Cool.
And some braised cabbage.
And chickpeas.
And chickpeas. Wonderful because the wine's so savoury and complex that the beautiful fattiness of the lamb just cuts through it.
Yeah.
Wonderfully complemented, we think.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Sharon. Lovely, thank you.
There's a particularly Spanish thing about chickpeas. They say that the Spanish temper comes from the chickpea.
That's what gives us the bad temper. Way too many chickpeas.
In that case, I think it'd be a really, really bad idea for me to eat too many of them. Duncan, they're all yours.
Oh, lovely. It's very nice, this food.
Is there something you need to tell me about lamb and this particular blend, Duncan?
Lamb and Tempranillo just seems to work. I've got no better explanation, but that's how it is for me.
Delicioso.
Salud.
Salud.